Okay, what's up, everybody? We're back, and Chris, I see your message on the chat. Closed captions is on. Thank you for the reminder, though, because I do every time I live stream, I have to manually turn it on, and I sometimes forget. So, yeah. So let's talk about this shooting situation. And this image apparently was going around. I initially had it in my thumbnail, but then I see it got community noted on Twitter. This image was going around like this was the actual shooter, but they're saying that this image is from an active threat training company PDF document. So just a FYI. So now they're saying that there's supposedly 4 people deceased, which is just crazy. And there's rumors that the shooter is some 14-year-old, not this person here. This is a witness, but they're saying a 14-year-old supposedly. They're doing a press conference in about 30 minutes, and I don't know. I mean, like, we've been here so many times. What do you even say anymore, right? They're saying this guy is believed to be a 14-year-old. Isn't that crazy?
We heard shots. The teacher ran, slammed the door, made us all go in the corner. We heard like the teachers and everything in the hallways, the police. We heard like the shooting, and then we heard that they ran away. And then after a while, they came and took us out to the football field.
And y'all have been out there since?
Yeah, we've been out there for like 3 hours.
What went through your mind waiting out there, not knowing what was going on?
I was like a little scared. I was trying to make sure all my friends were okay because I heard like they got shot. But I mean,
we just learned from the sheriff's office that 2 people died in this and that
yeah,
several others were injured. When you heard that, what went through your mind?
It was sad because I know I go to school here. That could have been one of my friends I don't know of and stuff. It sucked really bad.
And Tracy, of course.
So something interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on with this because, you know, as I'm scrolling Twitter now, I feel like, damn, is this going to be another Ethan Crumley? Because they're, according to CNN, you know, they're saying that the Apalachee High School received a phone call this morning that warned about the shootings. So who made this call?
Someone was detected at your front door.
Where did they get this information from? The high school at the center of today's mass shooting in Georgia received an earlier phone threat. Oh, I gotta do something. Okay, give me 1 second. I want to play this. This is live.
That are all
Be right
here
back in 1
waiting
second.
on new information to come out at about 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here at Apalachee High School in Barrow County in the Winder community. Now, what I'm basically hearing at this point in time is that we should learn more about the suspect that has been taken into custody. There are a lot of rumors and different pieces of information floating around about the age and whether this person was a student. We're going to hopefully learn more about that. We also hope to learn more about the victims. And we know that 4 died in this shooting and there are multiple injuries. So there's a lot of information to come and to eventually be released. So we hope to learn that. Another thing we're hoping to find out too, as I mentioned earlier, I was informed by some of the students that attend the school that there are no metal detectors here, and maybe not at any of the schools in Barrow County. That may be something that is looked at a little bit closer as a result of what has happened out here today. And also we want to know, this school is assigned 2 school resource officers, and one of our questions is whether they were here and on duty at the time that this occurred. And we know that the shots started, the shots were fired, as I understand, or at least the word came into police shortly after 9:30 this morning. So it's unclear whether school resource officers were able to intervene immediately or not. So we're going to hopefully learn more about that as well. But again, it's just been sad story after sad story from parent and student reuniting. I mean, they're glad that they certainly are okay, those parents that are able to reunite with their children that made it out with any harm. But it's been, you know, a sad day for everyone, and many of those parents felt very gracious and very grateful, I should say, but also wanted to offer up their prayers and thoughts for the others that were injured. Now, I was able to obtain some video from a student, and we have permission from the parent to use this footage that we want to show you right now. I have a couple of pieces of footage. One showing law enforcement officers running into classrooms and down hallways in the school building. They were armed in tactical gear just to make sure that everyone was safe and accounted for. There's also a little piece of video we hope to share with you that shows what appears to be an assault rifle that was found, or a video of one that was found on the ground in the hallway of the school. Now, it's unclear whether that was the weapon that was used to harm many of the faculty and staff and students that were in the school, but we wanted to share this video. This is the first time many of you have seen any footage from within the school building at the time of the incident.
This is video from inside.
And frantic moments for everyone involved.
Oh shoot, sorry.
As I mentioned,
wrong button. Oh my god.
Here shortly in the next 20 to 25 minutes at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so we're waiting for the press conference. That video, I actually sent it to myself. Okay. That video exclusive here, exclusive from the inside. Let's see.
File line down this aisle right here after this deputy. Hurry up now, come on, let's go.
What the?
We got a whole school to get evacuated, people. Come on now.
Come on. Our left, far left. Let's move with purpose. Come on.
Hands on the back side.
Hands up. Left at the dead end when you get there, guys.
Single file line down this aisle right here after this deputy.
Talking about those reunifications happening here at the school, but they're also happening all around us. In fact, there's a preschool right across the street from where we are, and I was seeing a dad just pick up his two kids, and I can't think what's going through his mind to think that his two little kids were this close to violence, and who knows what happened.
Well, we just
today.
spoke with an eyewitness, a 10th grader who attends Apalachee High School. She was in the classroom directly next to where the shooting happened. She was able to speak because her mother allowed us to speak. She was too nervous to talk, but the mother was in tears. She was visibly shaking. And as a parent, both you and I are, this is a concern of every parent who has their kids going to school. Are they going to be safe? A lot of schools take safety measures. We heard from that eyewitness says that the doors to her classroom, as soon as they knew that there was a threat in the school, all the doors locked. The teacher turned off the lights, according to this 10th grader that we spoke to, and rushed all the students to the corner of the room to get away from the door. And they were texting each other. They were texting their parents. This school apparently allows the students to have their cell phones. Right. The students were texting their parents. Exact quote that we got from the 10th grader that we spoke to. She told her mother, "I may not make it out alive.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm scared. I want to tell you that I love you." I mean, that brings tears to my eyes.
It's awful, and I think about the conversations that the parents are going to have tonight with their kids, but I also think about the parents who may not have a loved one who comes home tonight. We talk about that preschool right across the street. There's a middle school right down the street. Our Yasmina Alston is live outside the middle school there, and Yasmina, just the heartbreak around this community is just so...
So, okay, I was tagged on this news channel. I gotta be careful with this one. So, well, take this as a rumor. We'll have to see. But this Twitter page is claiming that Winder, Georgia, a special education math teacher, David Phoenix, has been identified as the first victim of the tragic shooting at the high school. And from my old church, he's in surgery right now. Pray for his wife and daughters, please. Damn. Maybe it's true.
At this school, which it was not, but it was still a great concern for them. And you all mentioned speaking with one of the students who was in the high school at the time of the shooting, and we also spoke with a 14-year-old student along with his parents. They gave us permission to ask him about what he experienced, and he says he was in one of the classrooms when someone with a gun came into the classroom and started shooting. He described seeing some of his classmates laying on the floor injured, and that, of course, is incredibly traumatizing for.
I wonder if the shooter just targeted specific people that they had an issue with, whatever. Maybe it wasn't just random people at the school, but specific targets at the school. I don't know why this keeps coming up on my Twitter feed, but it says Mike Collins represents Georgia 10, where the high school is located. Here's the commercial he made when he first ran for Congress. Let's check it out.
Hey, Mike Collins here, your pro-Trump America First trucker, running for Congress here in Georgia 10. Well, I understand Joe Biden was in town yesterday to talk about our elections. It seems that he and Kamala Harris called anyone who disagreed with the federal hijacking of this election a racist. Well, Joe, I got some news for you. Let me tell you what Georgians really believe. First of all, you count the legal votes that were cast in the state of Georgia, Donald Trump won this state, period. Number two, get rid of those voting machines. Go back to paper ballots once and for all. Number three, get rid of those ridiculous drop boxes across this state that the Democrats use to stuff the ballots and steal our elections. Number four, let's go to national forensic audits.
I don't understand what this has anything to do with the shooting.
Every election cycle across this country. As a matter of fact, it's one of the first bills I'll introduce when I get to Washington. You see, Georgians are sick and tired of weak-kneed, spineless politicians who won't fight for Trump, get to the bottom of 2020, and fix our elections. Well, if they won't do it, Mike Collins will.
Oh, shit. Yeah. The hell is that?
Send me to Washington.
Maybe because the shooting took place in Georgia, but they keep talking about this commercial, I guess. Let's see what else we got.
And Yasmina, thank you for that report. We have a special guest with us. This is Isabella.
Special guest.
She is a 7th grader at the middle school that there was a complete lockdown once the shooting happened. And Isabella, you've been in your first period classroom from this morning until now?
Yeah.
And what were you guys doing in the classroom?
Well, when the lockdown started, we just had to sit in the corner for a really long time. And we had to wait till officers came to escort us. My friends were freaking out thinking that there was a shooter in our school, but we didn't hear anything. My friends could hear helicopters, so they're like, oh my god, there's helicopters. I was just telling them it could be just like a bomb threat or some other type of threat until like our teacher said that she didn't know what was going on, and they were like, oh my god. Everyone was scared, but I was trying to calm everyone down.
So when you say everyone was scared, what were they doing?
So at first they were just like, thinking it was fake, and then they were just, after everyone knew that it wasn't fake, they were just like, some people were like breathing heavily, and then a bunch of people were like panicking and saying, be quiet, because a bunch of people were talking and laughing.
How scared was everyone? I mean, I have a middle schooler at home, and I'm thinking, I don't know how he'd be able to handle something like that, but how scared was everyone?
They weren't that scared. They were just like, because we did a bunch of practices last year where, they wouldn't tell us it was a drill, so we had a bunch of practices last year about it. So they weren't that scared. They just knew what to do after they figured out. But they were still a little scared and panicked.
So, Isabella, when you saw your dad and you were reunited, what was the first thing you told him?
What was that in his hands? Because he had like wires in his hands.
True, April.
But were you glad to see him and know you're okay?
Yeah. My mom, my sisters, and one of my friends that didn't go to school today, when I looked at my phone to check what time it was before he came and picked me up from school, my mom was like, are you I hope you're okay. I love you. And my 2 older sisters said, are you okay? And then my friend said, OMG, are you okay? Are you guys okay? So, yeah.
Well, Isabella, we're glad you're okay. Thank you so much.
And I think that's one of the hardest parts as we talk to students like Isabel and others out there is that, this is the 4th week of school, and these students should be celebrating the start of a new beginning, a new chapter in their lives. And today, all of that is being shattered by the actions of what's happened here this afternoon.
Well, we have so much more that we are speaking to eyewitnesses out here. Isabella, thank you so much. You can go back with your father. And Dad, thank you. Dad did not want to go on camera. He, too, was a little shaken by all this. And
He didn't want to go on camera, but he's fine with his kid being on camera?
fortunately, there are 4 who are not going back home to their families. And we are awaiting a press conference that should be happening shortly with law enforcement. Our Adam Murphy is there awaiting that press conference to get more details about who the injured are, who may have passed away. We do have to wait until next of kin is notified, but a tragic day here in Winder, and there's no words to say how sorry we are for those who are going through it.
And this community of people just showing up, just heartbroken, and just simply wanting answers and really wanting to know that their children are safe. So that news conference set to begin here around 4 o'clock. In the meantime, we're going to send it back to the studio with Tracy and Carly.
Yeah.
Blair, Sean, thank you so much for your live report out there. Our live team coverage.
All right, so 10 minutes waiting for the press conference.
First, and Tracy, just hearing from those students and seeing the video that Adam Murphy showed of what appeared to be an eyewitness there in the classroom, it just really makes you exhale and go, wow. These students having to distinguish between what was reality and what wasn't reality in real time, and just the gravity of what happened.
Yeah, and for so many of them, you know, there are calls that come into schools quite often that are not true. So a lot of them trying to figure out, okay, is this really happening, or is it a fake, or is it real? And when reality sets in and it's real, man, that's something you do not want your child to have to go through at all. All right, we've heard from a number of local leaders and politicians, from the governor, mayor from Atlanta, and from the president and vice president as well. We want to head over to our Doug Reardon, who's at the Georgia State Capitol right now. And Doug, we've heard from the governor and local officials, and we've talked about this before. Unfortunately, every time one of these school shootings happens, and it happens often, it becomes a political event that everyone rallies around, and then it seems like weeks go by and it's forgotten.
By the way, if you're on Twitter and you type in the high school name and you see a post like this, and it has like this content warning sensitive, and it says app from link. This link is actually a virus, so just be careful if you're browsing Twitter.
Yet they wanted to wait.
There's a bunch of accounts posting that same
and of course,
link.
make sure that these victims and these families have what they need to get through this very difficult time. That is the focus as of right now, whether we talk to Democrats, Republicans, local or state, or even federal lawmakers. They are just now thinking of the people who are all caught up in this today over in Winder. And so you mentioned the governor. He tweeted that his thoughts and prayers are with those individuals. He said he was making resources.
I want to know if that person's really 14 years old, that brought, shot and killed people, came to school. Probably is. Probably makes sense. It doesn't sound far-fetched that another student possibly came in there and shot the place up, right? And I want to know where he got the guns from. Probably his parents. We'll have to see. And I'm wondering if they could pull some Ethan Crumley, depending on the kid's history. I wonder what those parents are thinking now. They're shitting bricks. Parents of the shooter. That was a really controversial thing with Ethan Crumley. Some people agreed, some people disagreed with it. We got about still almost 10. There's going to be a presser in 10 minutes, so we got to wait.
As well as he mentioned the staff and law enforcement who were there helping these kids get to safety. We also had a couple of words from President Joe Biden, who is being briefed or was briefed on this situation. He called this horrific and senseless. We know that Attorney General Merrick Garland also brought it up during a press conference that was supposed to be about Russian interference in the 2024 election. He paused and took a minute to note the sadness that he had over this shooting in Georgia. And, you know, as far as what is being done or what has been done in past legislative sessions, when it comes to gun safety, really not much. There were two things on the table this year, a red flag law course, we know those red flag laws give judges or family members or law enforcement the ability to take firearms away from people if they are exhibiting signs that could lead to danger. That was left on the table without passage this past session. Also, a safe storage law that would require, by law, safe storage of firearms was also left on the table. It failed to pass. And of course, Georgia has a biennial legislative session, so things are good for 2 years. But that ended after last session did. And so these will have to be completely reintroduced again starting next session when it begins this winter. And so it's really, again, too early for a lot of lawmakers to comment at all on this, nonetheless talk about legislation. We also know that Governor Kemp this past year had allocated $45,000 per state school to make exactly this, safety and infrastructure improvements to keep students and staff safe from exactly the type of thing that happened today. We talked to Representative Collins, I mentioned before. He was not aware of any recent updates as far as safety goes that had taken place at Apalachee since that announcement of the allocated funds came out. And so we're just going to continue getting more information and maybe some more ideas from lawmakers on how to prevent this happening from happening here in Georgia as we see it happen so often around the country. We're going to hear from more lawmakers coming up in subsequent hours of our coverage. But for now, we're going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Doug, thank you. Stand by. And of course, we'll come back to you in just a bit. And this is not just an issue for the Barrow.
They're saying that gang takeover in Colorado, Aurora, is not true.
Here at 12th and Dallas, got quite a few of our officers out here that are out here tonight again. I've been out here for several weeks, making contacts with our residents, reassuring them about the criminal activity that's happening here and how we're going to address it. We're out here, we want to reassure the people that live in this community that's happening, and we're out here because we care. I mean, nobody should be wearing this uniform if they don't care. And we want the residents and the people that live here to know that we care. We've been talking to the residents here and learning from them to find out what exactly is going on, and there's definitely a different picture. I'm not saying that there's not gang members that don't live in this community, but what we're learning out here is that gang members have not taken over this complex. We've really made an effort to the...
So they're saying there's no gang takeover, and people were saying that all these bike gangs, Hell's Angels, is coming to save the day. Hell's Angels! Apparently they said it's not true. Fake news. I don't know.
Continue to take a live look right now from our First Alert chopper at Apalachee High School there in Winder in Barrow County, where just after 9:30 this morning, 9 o'clock or so, officials there at the school got word about an active shooter there on campus, and this is a story we have been covering since then. Over
5 minutes of the press conference.
At the school, on the grounds, they're speaking with parents, speaking with students with the parents' permission, talking about what happened at the school earlier today. What we have learned, the GBI confirming 4 dead, multiple people hurt, 9 taken to the hospital, 1 suspect in custody. That suspect is alive, and we speculate, well, we believe now that they would be speaking with law enforcement. They are trying to get as much information from that person as possible. Some of that information may come out in a news conference that we do expect to happen in the next 4 or 5 minutes or so. The Barrow County Sheriff's Office says they plan to give us more information. Barrow County Sheriff Judd Smith did give us some information earlier this afternoon. Not much. They were just trying to gather those details and make sure they had the most accurate information. We do expect to hear more from them coming up at 4 o'clock, and of course we will bring that to you live.
And what we want our viewers to know, Tracy, right? What we want you at home to know is, as we have talked about, this is a team effort here. We have the Georgia Bureau of Investigation out there. We have local law enforcement out there. There are a number of different investigators that have all teamed up for this. So what they are doing is they are coordinating their efforts right now. They have emergency response. It's a multifaceted approach. So in this press conference, which we are anticipating now in less than 5 minutes, they are gathering their information to bring us the latest details. And that's what we want to do at Atlanta News First. We want to bring you the most factual, up-to-date information.
Yeah, I hope we get some information, because the initial press conference on the last stream, it wasn't really much of anything. So hopefully now that there's been some time has passed, we'll have some actual information. I'm really curious to know. I don't know. I mean, it's so early. We probably won't find out right now, but I'm really curious to know, the information about the shooter, his history, background, mental health, parents.
To go, is this a drill or did this actually happen? Because as she noted, they went through a drill just like this several times last year. So it's one of those situations where, of course, you want these schools to be prepared, but it's unfortunate that they have to be prepared in a situation like this.
And we've been hearing from a number of political leaders as well, as Doug mentioned. Certainly heard from the governor, the mayor of the city of Atlanta, from President Biden, through the White House, basically said he's grateful for the first responders and that the White House will provide support as is needed there in the Barrow County community. And the president saying, quote, "This is not normal. School should be safe." And just moments ago, hearing from the chair of the Democratic Party, Congresswoman Nikema Williams, saying our children should not have to fear.
I mean, I don't know. These people say the same shit all the time. What is the solution? I don't know. Is there a solution? Is there any way to fix this? Or is it just, I found a direct feed for the press conference. Let me send that to myself real quick. I mean, so yeah, is there a solution? Or are we just gonna, every time this shit happens, it's the same shit that people say. Every time it happens, all the politicians on either side or in the middle, left, right, upside down, up above, all say the same shit. I mean, is there a solution? I don't know. And how did this person get the gun into school? I guess they just walked it in. I guess they just walked it in. The high school that I used to go to in New York was called John Adams, one of those schools. I went to this aviation school at first. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but then after that I went to John Adams, and I remember that school when I went there. Maybe, I don't know if the school has it. Maybe they have to have metal detectors. And yeah, that school I was going to, it was like going to an airport. You walk through this metal detector, you have to put your backpack in like this x-ray machine. That's how it was. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's impenetrable. It doesn't mean that somebody maybe can't sneak through a side door or something or whatever, but at least it's something. Maybe all these schools need metal detectors, and I don't know. Do they have cops at the school? I mean, my daughter's school has cops. At least one inside all the time and a couple of cops around the area throughout the day. I mean, even with cops, I guess somebody could still, if they manage to sneak it in, they can still do some damage before they're stopped. You know, it's the same thing all the time. Every year, every month, they're saying the same. Oh, it just shouldn't have happened. This can't happen in America. Why? Nothing changes. It's the same thing all the time. We're doing this. It's just repeating. Maybe that's just the world we're in. Violence, right? And even kids. Violence, shootings. Manny says my cop has one cop at. Oh, sorry, I said my cop. My son has a cop at middle school. Yeah. Do you guys, people with kids, do they have cops at your school? How's the security at your school? Like, I mean, do you feel comfortable with it? I don't know, man. Folks says it's been happening for almost a century. It will always happen more in America because we have guns and 336 million people. Yeah. BB, thank you for the 14 months. How you doing? Says they have cops and metal detectors in urban schools. Everyone has something to say until it happens to them. My kids have been through 3 lockdowns. Damn. Oh, you went to John Adams, Debbie? What? In New York? I remember when I first went to my first day in that school. I think it was the first or second day some kid tried me. He tried to pickpocket me, and I slapped his hand. I slapped his hand in my pocket because I'm not gonna let you go through my. And the look that this guy gave me was a really crowded hallway. The look that he gave me was like of like disgust or like, how dare you move my hand out of your pocket type of shit. I was like, well, it's weird. The school was okay. I mean, at that time, I don't know what it's like now. Feels like going to school is just worse in this generation. It's worse than what it was when we were kids. It's not the same anymore. It's just social media and depravity. These kids. I mean, it's always, I guess, always been there, but it seems like it's worse now. My daughter is at a school where the Space Force base is at. Oh, really? Oh. My son high school has cops with long guns. Damn, Crystal. Okay. Oh, wait. Who said that? Oh, Belexa. With long guns in a small community in Florida, Finland. Had a huge gun culture. And this ish doesn't happen. Oh, John Adams Nursing School. Okay. I was in Queens. I went to John Adams in Queens. I didn't know they had one in the Bronx. A nursing school. That's cool. I went to John Adams, and then I went to PS 207, which was in Howard Beach. Howard Beach is like this really Italian area. Like a lot of Italians. Everybody's Italian over there. Italiano. There are schools in Florida hire ex-military and ex-cops. I mean, that's I guess that's the point where we're at. I mean, we've been there for a while, but the only thing you do is have cops and security and check what these kids are coming to school with. I don't know. Yeah, shooters in custody and alive. They're about to have... Oh, they're kind of late on the press conference, but they're about to do a press conference soon. And, we're still waiting.
The street here, it was closed for most of the day, but it looks like police have reopened it down there for flow of traffic, guys.
Just to recap of what we have learned so far, we know here at Apalachee High School there has been a shooting. 4 students, not students, 4 people. They have not identified yet who has been killed, nor the individuals who have been hurt. We know that at least 9 people are hurt. There is going to be a press conference. Our CNN is reporting, that is one of our affiliate stations. CNN is reporting that there was a phone call that was made to Apalachee High School this morning, warning that 5 schools were being targeted for gunfire and that Apalachee High School would be the first. There's a lot of questions to still unfold, and that will be questions we'll be asking at this press conference.
Now, our understanding of the timeline looking back on this is that this all started around 9:30 this morning here at this school, and ever since then, parents have been showing up here trying to be reunited with some of their children, some of the students here at this school. And you may not be able to see here behind us, but there's a football stadium off in the distance. That's where they took many of the students, as we saw from First Alert Chopper that was over the scene there, and that's where many of the students were held until they could be reunited with their parents, which has been such a process, as you can imagine. You have the high school out here, but you also have a preschool right across the street, you have a middle school right nearby, and so you can imagine the crush of people that show up here when something like this happens. They just want to make sure their children are okay and alive.
And I know our Madeline Montgomery is also on location. And Madeline, I don't know if you can show the perspective, but it is an absolute traffic jam. On our way to getting here, I know you're in Gwinnett County, but on our way to approaching Winder, which is about 60 miles northeast of Atlanta, it is just it's clogged up.
Okay.
Parents are rushing to pick up their children. The lockdown was released within the last hour and a half. And so, Madeline, tell us, what are you seeing in Gwinnett County?
Heather says that they pushed back the press conference to 4:30. So we got about 20 more minutes to wait for the press conference. Liberty, thank you for the 12 months. Says, oh, both of my kids went to PS 207. That's awesome. Yes, we're Italian and we're zoned for John Adams, but we're sending them to a private Catholic high school. Small world. Yo, that's amazing. Yeah, I remember as a kid going to that school, PS207. They were pretty good for the most part. I had some nice friends out there too. But, I don't know that school is the same anymore. A lot of things have changed, you know.
This location that they have with Northeast Georgia Medical Center, she says 2 of the victims at this location are gunshot victims, and she says that their Brazelton location has 1 victim that is not a gunshot victim, and at their level 1 trauma center in Gainesville, they have 1 gunshot victim, and she says that all of the gunshot victims that their facilities have do not have life-threatening injuries, so that's good news. Though they were shot, they are believed to be able to survive those injuries. And then she says that all of the other victims they have that are not gunshot injuries but are inside of their facility, so inside of the Northeast Georgia Medical Center facilities, are people who are suffering from panic attacks or anxiety symptoms. So that's what brought them to the hospital. And so again, we're here at the Barrow County location, and we've seen an influx of people just coming into here, going into the emergency room. We've seen...
Wow. Again, just a warning for anybody that uses Twitter. I don't think this virus would affect your phone, but if you're on your computer, these links are linked to some virus. So just don't click it. I already clicked it and the antivirus picked up on it, but yeah, just avoid it. I already blocked like 5 accounts, but they're just like spamming this over and over and over. I don't know if it like collects information or what's the deal with that virus, but so 4 deceased. There's rumors again that the suspect is supposedly a 14-year-old, and they haven't released the identity. Multiple people injured. The press conference got pushed back to 4:30, and I wonder how they caught this person too. I guess they surrendered. I guess they just put their hands up and decided. I don't know, right?
Now. So that looks like that would be Heyman Morris Road that you're standing.
Let's see, I had the press conference feed. Oh, here it is. Okay. Nothing going on there yet.
Is with those who were affected, and also going on to say that these children were taken far too soon by what he called a sick and deranged monster. We also heard earlier in the day from President Joe Biden. He released a statement calling this horrific and senseless. And all throughout the day from Washington, we have been hearing from people who are telling us their hearts are filled with sorrow for these families here in Winder, Georgia. We know that Attorney General Merrick Garland took a moment during a press conference that was supposed to be about Russian interference in the upcoming election to say
make asylums great again, right?
Thinking about these families.
Yeah.
We know that there were also a number of federal agencies that were on scene, including the FBI out there in Barrow County today, and all the way up to our state leaders. We have been hearing reaction from this. In fact, House Speaker John Burns, a Republican, just came out with a statement of his own saying that he is a father and a grandfather, and he cannot imagine what it's like for these families to go through this. He also noted that Georgia has tried to make some investments in recent years and months even in mental health, which they passed quite a bit of mental health legislation this past year, as well as school safety. We noted in our last hour that not too long ago, within the last 12 months, Governor Brian Kemp had allocated $45,000 each for state schools to go ahead and use that to implement safety upgrades. We don't know, even after talking to U.S. Representative Mike Collins, who represents the district that Apalachee is in, if the high school had used any of that money since those allocations were made to make any safety upgrades. I think it's just a little too soon for a lot of people to start even talking.
So there's a lot of people, or some people on Twitter, talking about gun reform. Let's see here. Somebody posted, yes, it's a gun problem. Yes, it's a regulation problem. Yes, it's a mental health proven. Yes, it's a societal problem. Yes, politicize it. I mean, yeah, that's politicizing the shit. I mean, I know that's a part of it, but they haven't done nothing. I mean, I don't know. I definitely don't have the answers. But you have crazy gun violence in some of the most gun restricted states, some of the most gun violence. So I don't know. I mean, I guess you could try to enact more laws and stuff. I guess is that gonna fix it? I don't know. Somebody here said ban assault weapons. Enough already. Do we even know what weapon this person used? We put the pressure on the screen. Everybody's still waiting for the press conference. We got about 20 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Press conference. If they don't push it back again. I mean, I don't know. This 14-year-old, if it's a 14-year-old, probably just took the gun from his parents. You know, I mean, in some states, like I know in Florida, you're supposed to store your gun, like lock it up. Like if you have kids, you can't just have your guns laying around. They're not supposed to have access to it. But I don't know, like, you know, maybe his parents were I don't know if it's a he, but maybe this person's parents, you know, was maybe teaching him to shoot and maybe taking him out to learn and whatever. And maybe this person had open access to a gun. Let's see if there's any information. They're saying believed to be a 14-year-old, 4 people deceased. Approximately 30 people injured. And the information about it being a 14-year-old came from a law enforcement source, says CNN. Which, again, that sounds probable that it's 14-year-old or some young teenager, you know. And what's crazy is that the school even received a gun threat earlier in the day. And it seems like they did nothing. They even had a warning.
Towards the end of it, like I heard screaming, and they like unlocked my door, and they came with the flashlight and the guns, and we had to like have our hands up and stuff, and then that's when they took us outside.
Wait, who came with guns? The individuals that were opening fire in the school?
No, not the individuals. The police came, and they got us.
Police came in to save you. Can you describe those tense moments, what that was like?
Like, I don't know. It was just really, it was scary. Like, my heart was kind of racing. I didn't even have my phone or anything, so like I couldn't talk to my mom. I was just kind of scared.
Everybody's waiting on the press conference. Okay. Yeah. What was that? Said that earlier too. Let's see. Yeah, Jennifer. I hope so too. That they actually have some information. And I guess maybe they will since they pushed it back. I hope they have something. And I wonder when they're going to release the identity of the shooter. Crazy, man. Let's see what else pops up. This person here said, I'm old enough to remember when I was in school, we didn't have regular live shooter drills because there was no mass shootings at schools. None. We're the only so-called developed nation on earth where we allow it to be an ongoing threat to our kids. another school shooting, man. I don't know if it's a girl or boy. I don't know. But they're saying the rumor is 14 years old. Hopefully we get some information on this presser. Yeah, I hope to do a Q&A.
All right, Adam Murphy with us live here in Winder in Barrow County. Thank you so much, Adam, and we'll come back to you as that news conference gets started. But where we are outside the high school, it is still very much an active scene. You see, because your mom let us talk with you, and we really appreciate it. We're so sorry everything you've had to go through today. First and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's just like, I don't know, it just happens so random. Like, everything happens so fast.
So take us back to when you first heard that there was a lot of commotion. What did it sound like? What did you hear? And at what point did you realize this is getting scary?
Well, we were just talking. My teacher was telling us to go, telling us to go back to our seat because we were just reviewing and stuff. And then out of nowhere, we heard banging. My teacher heard banging. She was like, she made a face. She was like, oh, it's nothing. It's just lockers banging. But then we heard da 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 like so many times, and then that's when my teacher got so scared. She turned off the lights quickly, and then the doors were already locked because all of the doors in the school, they're already locked.
They have a security measure to protect students. So when you heard that rapid banging, was that gunfire or was that students rushing and just dodging under chairs?
It was gunfires.
How many gunshots did you think that you heard?
They were just rapidly. They were like da 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 da. So probably I don't know, 6 or so, maybe.
And this was in the classroom right next to where you were, right?
Yeah.
So what happened then? I mean, did you take cover or what happened at that point?
Our teacher told us to immediately go on the corner of the room, and then we were just hiding there in a corner. She was trying to protect us.
It seems like the teacher really went into action really fast. Do you see her acts as being heroic and making sure that the students that were in your classroom were kept safe?
Yeah.
I know this is all unfolding in a way that is really hard to try to understand. I know it's hard for all of us to understand right now. As you walked out of that classroom, what went through your mind?
Well, they told us to put our hands up, so we were hands up, and then we had our hands up, and then in the side, I don't know what I saw, but I probably saw I don't know, probably a body or something. I don't know, because there was a SWAT person covering something, and then as we were walking to our right, that's when I saw 2 girls. They were injured. One of them had blood in her arms, and then one of them was in one of the beds for to take you to the hospital.
What was going through your mind when you saw your classmates, the students you go to school with every day? This isn't a video game. This isn't a TV show. This is real.
I don't know. I was just shocked. I just it's just crazy how you have a regular day and then all this happens so fast, and it's just shocking.
You know, I'm watching your eyes. I see your mom. She's over there watching us while we're doing this interview. When you saw your mom, what was the first thing that you did?
I started crying, and then I just gave her a big hug.
You're glad you're alive?
Yes, I'm glad.
We're glad you're here.
We're glad you're here too.
So
Jimena, thank you, and we're sorry for what you've gone through. You've shown incredible bravery to just speak to us. So, Carly and Tracy, we're just starting to get a sense, Blair, of just a lot of the students that we have seen. It has been crowded. I mean, just trying for us to get here on location, there are hundreds and hundreds of cars parked, very hard to get through traffic. A lot of them are concerned parents here to grab their children.
Yeah, and even school buses showing up here as we look off in the distance. We're going to send it back to you now, Tracy and Carly, and we'll keep an eye on the situation out here, talking with families and more of the students out here, those truly impacted firsthand.
All right, we'll see you in just a bit. As we continue to take a live look from our first alert chopper, we do want to talk about Homeland Security protocols. Unfortunately, Carly,
saying, quote, "It doesn't have to be this way, guys."
It doesn't have to be this way, but you don't.
Savannah, thanks so much. And
I'm so tired of these.
The word senseless comes to mind
people.
for so many people when they talk about this. And
The politicians, when they start talking. All right, we're still waiting. So they're supposed to be starting soon. 7 minutes left, I guess. At 4:30. So less than 10 minutes should be starting. I was trying to see if we could find some more witness accounts. This kid's on right now. Yeah.
So we got out and we were walking out, and then we walked past and there was a room, and then there was a body, and there was the gun laying on the ground with the bullets and the blood.
And another thing that I've heard from 2 students in the past half hour was that when they were exiting, they are telling me that they saw an AK on the floor in the hallway near.
Oh my God, an AK-47.
One of the bodies. Of course, we have heard that 4 tragically lost their lives today, 9 taken to various hospitals. But as they made their way outside of the school to safety towards the back part of campus, I am told that 2 of them have relayed to me that there was an out to the sheriff's office about this. I was just told that as of right now, of course, with the magnitude of information that they are sorting through and through all their accounts from witnesses. Right now, they can't confirm that that weapon was used, but also can't rule that out. My source tells me that they are going to look into it, but again,
AK-47.
as of right now, they can't confirm or deny whether that AK was on the floor, as 2 students have relayed to me. But again, a lot of these kids that are coming out of the school, they're just describing the terror of seeing a teacher's body on the floor.
Oh my God! You know how traumatizing that is? To see it, you go to what? You're going to school. Then you hear shots. Then you see a teacher's body on the ground. Bro, that's like people just don't realize the psychological and PTSD these children. These kids are gonna have to go through, man, just from this. The PTSD just alone. It's
wild.
They took a look at all the victims and determined which hospital would be best equipped to treat each patient. And as you said, one of those patients was rushed here to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Treated here is a 15-year-old female student with a gunshot wound. We do not know her condition, but obviously, as I said, medical personnel determined that Eggleston is best equipped to treat her injuries. We do hope to find out more about the condition of this student, as well as the others who were wounded in this tragic shooting. And as you just heard Johnny Edwards say, that these victims were transported to hospitals across the region and getting the best possible treatment for their wounds. Reporting live outside Children.
Okay. Hopefully this thing starts. 4 minutes. Mamma mia. Wow.
Edney has been doing a great job of talking to some more students who right now, Brittany, are kind of our eyes and ears until we hear officially from authorities.
Yeah, Christine, and you kind of said this in the past hour, just everyone, on our team just being surprised at the amount of composure and calmness that these students are able to communicate through after everything that they've just been through. I spoke to one student who says that when all of this happened, that he wasn't sure, again, what was happening, but then they got a notification on Smartboard. Now, that is the school's internal communication system. He says at that point, the students were told, go into a hard lockdown. He and others went to a corner of the classroom. Everyone huddled down on the ground together. I'm told that classroom door was secured. And then later on, of course, once law enforcement made the way through the school and started to do their sweep, going room by room, I'm told that they used a key to unlock that classroom door. Now, a separate student that I spoke with, he said that he heard a lot of loud commotion and he was surprised because he was listening to music at the time. Listen to his account right here.
Bro, so I just heard gunshots like going off. I had my AirPods on full blast. I was blasting Ken Carson, and I heard like gunshots go off, and I was like, oh crap. My friend like pushed me to the ground. I thought it was fake until I heard like more gunshots and screaming. I was like, oh. And then yeah, they pushed me out to the side, and they came in there told us to get our hands up. So we like got out, and we were walking out, and then we walked past, and like there was a room, and then there was a body, and there was like the gun laying on the ground with like the bullets and the blood.
And another thing that I've heard from two students in the past half hour was that when they were exiting, they are telling me that they saw an AK on the floor in the hallway near one of the bodies. Of course, we have heard that 4 tragically lost their lives today, 9 taken to various hospitals. But as they made their way outside of the school to safety towards the back part of campus, I am told that 2 of them have relayed to me that there was an AK on the floor. Now, I did reach out to the sheriff's office about this. I was just told that as of right now, of course, with the magnitude of information that they are sorting through and through all their accounts from witnesses, right now they can't confirm that that weapon was used, but also can't rule that out. My source tells me that they are going to look into it, but again, as of right now, they can't confirm or deny whether that AK was on the floor, as 2 students have relayed to me. But again, a lot of these kids that are coming out of the school really just describing the terror of seeing a teacher's body on the floor, multiple people who were killed. This has just been, as you can imagine, a tremendous undertaking for these kids to kind of process where AK was on the floor, as 2 students at school really just describing the terror of seeing a teacher's body on the floor, multiple.
Damn, that's wild. Teacher's body and supposedly an AK was seen on the floor. Dang. Okay, it's 4:30. Let's see if they start. AK-47 and teacher's body. Guess they're running late still. Oh, they're walking up now.
Gut wrenching. And
coming?
law enforcement, they've
imagine
seen what they've
know.
seen
Right,
inside of the school. We don't know what type of weapon was used, at what point, how close was the student when they shot the victims? Was it at point range? This crime scene is massive, and what they have seen is probably unthinkable. But as they approach the podium, we're preparing to hear their statement.
We know local law enforcement is here. We know the FBI is here. GBI is here as this news conference is about to get underway. And as they start to take the podium and give us an update, let's go ahead and take it live now as this is about to begin.
Director of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and we wanted to come back this afternoon and present you with a little more of a timeline of the events that have taken place here today and what we know up to this point with the investigation. At approximately 10:20 a.m. this morning, the Barrow County Sheriff's Office received alerts about reports of an active shooter and radio traffic from school resource officers concerning the same concern, or having the same concern. Within minutes, law enforcement was on scene, as well as 2 school resource officers assigned here to the school, who immediately encountered the subject within just minutes of this report going out. Once they encountered the subject immediately surrendered to these officers, and he was taken into custody. Additionally, what I want you to know as of now, there are 4 individuals who are deceased from this incident, 9 that have been taken to local hospitals with various injuries. Of those that are deceased, 2 were students and 2 were teachers here at the school.
Wow.
The priority right now for us within this investigation is to gather all the facts, to make sure that we're accurate with it, because this is a murder investigation. As the sheriff mentioned earlier this morning, the shooter is in custody. His name is Colt, that's C-O-L-T, Gray. He is a 14-year-old student here at the school, G-R-A-Y. He is a 14-year-old student here at the high school. Again, he has been taken into custody. He will be charged with murder, and he will be tried as an adult.
Tried as an
adult. We're coordinating these charges, and obviously this investigation with District Attorney Brad Smith, who is the District Attorney for the Piedmont Judicial Circuit here. Since earlier this morning we talked with you, and since the incident occurred, numerous interviews have been taking place through our investigation with students, faculty, as well as any other witnesses that we could identify. Law enforcement had a very, very swift response to this incident once the incident was determined that there was a concern here. Those resources, whether it was in that response or throughout this investigation to assist, came obviously from the sheriff's office here, from other local law enforcement agencies, state law enforcement agencies, and federal law enforcement agencies as well. To include, not to be left out, multiple EMS personnel, multiple fire personnel, and agencies. Those agencies responded here as well today, and I am extremely grateful, as I know the sheriff is, for that quick response and the partnerships of working here together with what all is going on. Currently, from the investigative perspective, we have crime scene agents and other special agents from the GBI, from close to a dozen of our different work units from across the state that have responded here today to work on this investigation, again, collecting evidence, conducting interviews, and so forth. I do want to pass this along, that if anyone has any information that wants to be passed on concerning this investigation, that they can do that anonymously at our tip line at 1-800-597-TIPS or 1-800-597-8477. They can also report this on by downloading the See Something, Send Something app. That can be done by Android or Apple phones, either one. If they need to report any tips concerning this investigation. Let me close out before I turn this over to the sheriff and let you just remind you that this is still a very active investigation. There is still a lot that is very fluid. There's still a lot of interviews to be conducted that will continue on into the night, as well as crime scene work and collecting and gathering evidence. But what is more important for me to mention here to you is my heartfelt sympathy to the parents, the students that were here today. Regardless of where they were in the school, this has got a great impact on them as well as on this community. My thoughts and prayers, along with everybody standing behind me and every law enforcement agency in this state, and many I will tell you around this country, they are in our thoughts and prayers, and we will continue with that. We ask for your patience as we continue through this, and we'll continue to try to give you as many updates with information as we can to keep you informed. But thank you for being here. I'm now going to turn it over to Barrow County Sheriff Judge Smith. Thank you.
Director, would you spell your name, please?
H-O-S-E-Y.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm
I wanna know what it
Sheriff
looks like
Judge
now.
Smith of the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. I never imagined that I would be speaking to the media in my career over something that happened today, the pure evil that happened today. I cannot thank the people behind me for the support they give me today, to give this office and give this staff. This hits home for me. I was born and raised here. I went to school in this school system. My kids go to this school system. I'm proud of this school system. My heart hurts for these kids. My heart hurts for our community. But I want to make it very clear that hate will not prevail in this county. I want that to be very clear and known. Love will prevail over what happened today. I assure you of that. It is very early as to what happened. Governor Kemp reached out to me and has provided me every single resource that he has to make sure justice prevails. I don't know why it happened. I may not ever know. We may not ever know. But I ask that you and our community lift up our schools, lift up our public safety, and that, again, we do not let this hateful event prevail as to what happened today. I want to thank the surrounding agencies and counties and cities and state and federal authorities that have come and provided us, because they prevented a lot of more tragic events from happening. Continue to lift up these families, continue to lift up our students and our kids, and know that love will prevail. At this time, I'm going to ask Dr. LaDuff, our school superintendent, to come and speak on behalf of the school.
Good afternoon. I'm Dallas LaDuff. I'm the superintendent of Bexar County School System. I want to thank the Bexar County Sheriff's Office and all of our law enforcement partners for their swift response today, along with that of our staff. I'd also like to thank our community for their response and patience as we work to reunify the students with their families here today and secure the rest of our school campuses. Our schools will be closed for the remainder of this week as we cooperate fully with law enforcement to get answers to the many questions that we all have about this incident here today. But as we are closed, our central offices will remain open, where we will have grief counseling available for our community every day this week and thereafter as we support each other through this terrible event. In closing, I just want to say to our community, as a school system, we are here for you, we support you, and we are ready to get you any support that you may need as we grieve through this together. Thank you.
Sheriff, if you're saying hate will not prevail in this community, are you investigating this as some sort of hate crime?
Well, shortly, if someone decides to take a firearm into a school where kids are given an education or entitled to an education and want to harm others, to me it's hateful.
Sheriff, can you talk about the initial interaction between whoever was able to stop the shooter? Can you describe that to us? How did it go down? What exactly happened for us?
Obviously the shooter was armed and our school resource officer engaged him, and the shooter quickly realized that if he did not give up, that it would end with an OIS, or an officer-involved shooting. He gave up, got on the ground, and the deputy took him into custody.
Sheriff, any idea how the weapon got inside the school, and was there any warning that this was going to happen?
Not that I'm aware of. Again, very early, and we're still looking into that, whether or not, or how he obtained it and how he got it into school.
Have you been in touch at all with his parents or his family to learn more?
Yeah, what's mom and dad?
Led up to these moments.
We have.
Any information you can share?
No.
What kind of
Bring him out.
It seems like you have a large Hispanic population. Have you been able to communicate with the people in their language to make sure that everybody knows what's happening?
Oh, he's trying to cancel.
Yes, sir, I have. The school and our office has people that speak in Spanish, and they have spoke to those folks as well.
Yes. Spanish.
Speaking with law enforcement now.
Sorry.
Don't worry about Spanish. Don't worry about the people that are deceased and dead and the murder.
The shooter was interviewed, and he was speaking with our investigators earlier, along with the GBI.
How is that? Video surveillance. How's that helping you, Sheriff?
It is helping our investigation.
Sheriff, is
reports of threatening calls perhaps made to the school prior to the shooting? Is that accurate?
None that I'm aware of.
Were all 9 injured victims shot?
In some capacity, yes.
Sheriff, can you tell us about the 2 individuals deceased and was one targeted?
We don't know of any targets at this point.
Sheriff, what kind of weapon was used? Have you identified the weapon?
We have not identified that at this point. No.
Sheriff, is there a connection?
This is the last question I'm going to take.
Sheriff, is there a connection between the shooter and the victims?
None that I'm aware of.
Was this a student here at the school?
I know that you have a lot of questions about the student and that we mentioned that we identified earlier. Keep in mind that that's part of our investigation, that we're looking into every aspect of that individual, his connection here at the school. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, he was a student here. So as part of our investigation, we're looking into all aspects, current and prior, involving that individual.
Can you tell us how many rounds were fired? He is a student. Can you tell us how many rounds were fired?
Do what?
The shooter is a student, yes.
When can we expect the
We do not know how many rounds.
Director, has that shooter had any past history with law enforcement?
For now, this is the information that we have. It is an active investigation. I assure you we do plan to come back out here in a couple of hours. Please make sure you're following the GBIX page. That's where we're going to be putting the update.
GBIX page.
If there's anything that's new, we'll make sure that we share that information. It's still very early. Investigators have a lot of work to do. We appreciate your patience. Do expect another in-person news conference out here next few hours. Monitor the X page, and we will be sure to update you accordingly.
So we'll be back later.
And that's the on x.com.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, they gave a little bit of information. We got the shooter's name confirmed. It's 14 years old, Colt Gray. So I'm really curious to know what this person looks like. Where the hell did they get an AK-47? My only assumption is they got it out of the parents' house. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. And somebody even just said they should charge the parents. I want to know more information. I want to know more information. I want to know the details of this. I mean, Colt Gray. And they were a student, which is, I guess, not surprising. Shot, I thought they said 2 teachers and 2 students dead. You know. And when it came to somebody else having a gun, they cowered and gave up. No problem shooting unarmed people that are defenseless, but when it comes to matching up with somebody else that has a gun, they cowered and gave up right away. They didn't go out in a blaze, didn't go shooting at the person that had a gun as well. They just gave up, which is good. I mean, they can. It said this person can be charged or tried as an adult for murder. So I guess we'll have to see what happens. I'm going to be following this Twitter page. I think I'm going to have a notification later tonight. So they said they'll come back in a few hours. I'll be back, and maybe by then, maybe a picture will be released. Somebody's going to leak out the picture. And I really want to know what the family has to say, the parents have to say about this. All right, guys. I'll be back later. We'll see what happens. Stay safe. Insane. The insanity of the world. All right. If you could hit the like button for